I'm a hyper educated man who has traveled the country and some of the world and met people from all over the world and country and talked deeply with them and been in communion with them. And I've studied the issue of race and racism for 3 decades. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on it, but Matt, from what you're saying, is that I don't know anything at all. And so,
That's not what I'm saying, sir. I'm saying we all, no matter how well educated or worldly or open to learning we all have our blind spots,
of
and
course, yeah, yeah, yeah. But
uh,
yeah, I am different, brother. Okay, sorry, just because like I'm an expert in learning, I'm like an expert in teaching and learning, and so like I know a lot of things about how to learn and how to find out the truth that other people don't know. Also, being a mathematician helps with that. But I don't really think that there's anything that I could say because you didn't really accept, although you said you're not, you know, denigrating my experience, which I appreciate you not doing. Like you're also not validating it, like so it kind of leaves me in a place where there's nothing I can really say or do, right? Like there's if I can't if I can't speak to my own experience, if I can't speak to and I can't also speak to American history because we disagree on that. There's really no like there's
well,
really no.
you did it to me first, though.
What did I do first?
You said, and you did to Jason as well. You said that active discrimination against white people doesn't happen in academic institutions, and we both have this very rich, vivid, lived experience, just as real as your own experience
Really?
of
Can you
that
tell me?
happening.
Can you tell me your experience of it happening to you then?
Well, I mean, okay. Well, my SAT was 1480 in 2000. My ASVAB score was 99, and I was barely got into Indiana University. I was discriminated against there acutely and repeatedly while there for the 2 semesters I was there before dropping out due to some family issues that weren't directly related to the academic institution. But it was clear that despite the merit being there, there were other people in front of me in that line, and they very explicitly made that clear to me during every step of the process that you, as a trailer park kid, a white kid from Southern Indiana, would be in the very back of the line behind the legacy students, behind the minority students, behind the foreign students with cash, in the very back of that line. And so yeah, I'm trying to understand where you're in respect where you're coming from too.
So I
But
guess I guess the question then for me then is why are you focusing on the racial aspect, which is a minute part of what you had to deal with? It sounds like based on that story, because legacy admissions are a substantially greater percentage of admissions of college overall than anyone who gets admitted under affirmative action. It's not even comparable. So, like, why would you focus on the racial element then, if that was your experience?
I'm also quite anti-elitist, and I even led into that with my previous statement about how I oppose white supremacy, and I believe that it's morphed into white saviorism. The final bosses in my narrative are the white elites who are pushing the ideology that I feel like you're mirroring. Okay, I don't see black people as the greatest threat to me or problem. I love black people. I even have a black friend. Um, so I can't be racist, right? Um, but it's not. I'm not just exclusively racializing it, and I understand, especially in the 21st century, black people are a smaller and smaller part of this bigger conversation that's including more identities in America. And do you disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why you believe that. Like, yeah, that to me, that came out of left field.
Well, for a long time, America only had pretty much three races. You had the Native Americans, you had the American descendants of slavery, and you had the white settlers, right? And now you have tens and tens of millions of Latin Americans, Asians, Africans from Africa who have very different experiences and cultures of their own. You have these people from the Middle East and stuff with their own perspective. You know, we have enough Israelis and Palestinians to where we're having like street brawls and stuff between Israeli and Palestinian communities, which you wouldn't imagine, you know, a generation ago. There being enough of these different identity groups, with the borders having been open as long as they have, we're becoming a microcosm of the world. And within that, I believe that this kind of the black white narrative that's shaped America from its founding is getting lost in that larger story.
I am not promoting a black white narrative personally. So maybe that's what made me react that way, because like,
You say you're under a white supremacist system. You're being
correct.
oppressed, and it's a part of your daily life is being oppressed by this white supremacist system. That seems like a black and white thing, that you, as a black man, are being discriminated against by my system.
Well, it's not your system, sir. Like
Well, thank you. Okay.
you're not
Well,
sitting at the controls, but like, you know, like,
okay.
I mean, that's why I tried to explain what I meant by white supremacist, right? Which is that, and this goes back to my original point, which is that white supremacy as an ideology and its consequences extend far beyond any individual's action, and that has been the case for a while now, generations. So like, it seems like most racialized white people do not have understanding of that reality. And so,
Well, I think they did, and they do.
I
And
don't
that's
think
why
so,
in the
brother.
19th,
As
in the
somebody,
1960s, they agreed to all these special programs like affirmative action for a period of correction. And they said, and you would know, given your background, it was understood at the time that it would be a limited period, a couple of decades, to kind of correct things up, correct for the historical imbalances, and then we would move towards an individual meritocratic back to it was sort of an emergency measure, right? That was the explicit. I think Sandra Day O'Connor, you would know better than me, gave it some kind of explicit deadline, like 1999 or something. But my point being that white people did validate that there was this unfairness. But you're asking them to continue to validate it
I don't think. Hang on,
later,
I
after
will.
it can no longer
Hang on.
explain anything.
I will let you get to that. I will let you get to that second part, but I just have to at least tell you, right? I cannot agree that a Supreme Court ruling is white people's validation. Okay? I don't think that those two things are the same. And I don't think it's reasonable to say they are. Okay? So, like, I just have to put that out there. But
Okay.
I heard what you said. Okay? The Supreme Court made this ruling to you. That means white people were validating black people somehow.
Well, it was all throughout the justice system. It was the bedrock foundation of the civil rights movement. The legal architecture of the civil rights movement was this understanding that these people were behind. There were credible systemic reasons why they could be behind, that were being corrected for. I mean, the question is, like, at what point does that just become a blood libel against white people?